everybody. Oh, I don't need my phone right there. This is Alyssa from Mint Arts and Crafts, and today we are here for a WIP and chat. So WIP stands for Work in Progress Chat. Well, we're going to sit here, we're going to chat a little bit about how my week has been, all that fun stuff, and go from there. So for today's canvas, I am working on Halloween bedroom. Let me find the image. So I am working on a Halloween bedroom. Let me turn on the overhead so we can get that nice look. This is from the artist Mrs. Butterdy. And it comes to us from Diamond Art Club. This has 53 colors. It's a square drill canvas, and it is 65 by 91.8 centimeters. So definitely on the larger side, not massive because it's only the 90. It's not close to the 100. So this is about like the largest size that I will enjoy doing. What are you two doing? Chaos Gremlins? So this is about the largest size that I comfortably do because it's the 65 by 92 basically. Really my happy place is a 50 by 70. So anyways, that is a Halloween bedroom. So the color palette is actually surprisingly gorgeous. I'll show you once I finish what I'm going to work on during this video. We will go ahead and turn the overhead off and we'll take a look at what all my progress has been without. So the tools that I'm using today, like always, I'm using my two Yellow Dog Designs trays. They're the only two I own, but they've become like my only two trays that I use. I have some pineapple cilantro wee wax, so I'm still using that one. But I did swap out my putty. So I'm using two different putties. I've got Pina Colada from Tracy's DP World, and then I have Thess Studios Classic Line Lemon putty. So I'm using these two putties. I can't remember which pen I have them in. I can't remember what I put them in. I think I've got the Thess Studios in my 10 placer, and then one of these, oh yeah, so this would be the Thess Studios, and then this one would be the Pina Colada from Tracy's DP World. So the pens that I'm using, I have this gorgeous stunner of a pen with a 10 placer on it, and this one is from Peachy Keen Pens. And then I like to have two different style 8 placers so that way it's comfortable in my hand. So this one right here is a Swampwood pen with an 8 placer on it. I love this one. This one's stunning. And then I have this right here. I want to say that this, I believe this is Creations Morin. I want to say, I can't remember. I know I had a custom done, but it could also be a Peachy Keen pen because I know that's kind of reminds me of some of my Peachy Keen pens. I can't remember off the top of my head for sure. So yes, you'd have to, I didn't feel like going back and watching my pen haul video where I go over whose pen this was. But it's one of those two. Because I know I own one Creations Morin pen, but I think this one's probably actually the Peachy Keen pen. So we're going to go ahead and get started in here. Let me turn my overhead back off. The girls, it's like fresh, well, it's not fresh in the morning. It's like 10 o'clock. But the girls and I haven't been awake for that long, and now they are causing all the chaos. Well, we've been awake. We just have not been out of bed, I guess you could say, because we have been having a lazy morning. Mostly, and that would be why, that would be why this is going up a little bit late, because, yeah, so we are having that lazy morning. Let me see how far up my canvas I can go. Okay, I can go to like right there. So I can go to her earring right there, and that's it. I just want to make sure because I did a taller, so my section that I'm doing right now is a taller section than I normally do. It's actually a little bit more than half of the canvas, but on the flip side of that, it is skinnier than normal. And that's because with squares, I tend to kind of feel almost like burnout on a large square canvas if I'm doing my normal size section, which would be to like right here. But for this one, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this first half. I'm going to do a little bit taller than half. It's only like an inch more than half on this one. I'll do a little bit more than half on this canvas. That way, when I flip it around to the other side, the last half will go faster. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm doing this sections a little bit skinnier. So that way it goes a little, I feel like it's going faster right now because it's not taking me as long to finish the sections. Also, there's a good amount of color blocking in here, so I could easily do, there's a good amount of color blocking in here. So I feel like I could easily do like my full size section, but then there's certain areas. So color blocking would be like this. You see, that's all one color right there, large section of one color. But then there's also sections like her sweater, which is going to be pure checkerboarding. And you guys know I loathe checkerboarding, so that's going to be slow. So I wanted to divide it up so that way when I got into like her sweater section and then down on the rug at the bottom of the canvas are like the two sections that are going to take me the longest. So that way I don't have to spend as much time doing the checkerboarding. And so I divided it up like that, just to like, you know, make it a little easier on myself and make myself, because otherwise if I do a lot of checkerboarding, I get burned out. And I do not want to get burned out because I want to finish this canvas, which it's beautiful. And I'm glad I pulled it out because I want to finish this one. And then from there, I need to start the other canvases that I want to do for October because I want to start my custom of Mylan, my pug that I lost 2 years ago in October. So I want to start my custom of her that I got from Jaded Gem Shop. And then I also want to do my Diamond Art Club Treasure Quest card custom. That's the other one that I definitely want to do this month in October. And then anything else in October, I think I'm going to finally go off of, I've had a couple of like the Year of the Snake, Year of the Dragon. I've had a couple like Year of canvases that have been sitting in my do this next, and I have not touched them. But they've been in my like started category because that's my like up next queue. So I really need to work on those ones too. But I want to kind of make some good progress on some of these other canvases for basically into November because I'm probably not going to finish her in October because this is a big canvas. And I'm always slower with squares. And I just started this one a couple days ago. So I doubt I'm going to finish Halloween Bedroom in October. But then, so I'll finish it at the beginning of November. It won't take me too long into November to finish. And once I finish her, then I'll start into the rest of the canvases I want to do, like, which I said I want to do my 2 customs. And then I want to also get started on some of my year of canvases that I'm like behind and I've wanted to do in that year, but did not get them done in that year. So we want to work on those. So anywho, that's kind of like my plan of attack as far as finishing this one and then rolling into those. But it's also, you know, it's also one of those things where I may decide I want to do something else instead. You never know. So in December, I am going to be working on, I have 3 Christmas canvases that I plan on working on, I want to say, that have Christmas in the name. I might have to look. I think I have, 2 Lyubka cat Christmas canvases. So I might work on both of them because I think there were 2 that came out. There was one that's like the Christmas tree angel one, and I think that there was another one with the Christmas tree lights. I'd have to look at my Lyubkas and see. But I've got that, and then I have 2 Mrs. Butter D ones. And then I have a mini set of Christmas minis from Enabler's Outpost that I want to work on and finish this year as well. So I've got some, and those I'll do all in November. So yes, that's all the the November plans for the non-Christmas ones. And then December will be the Christmas ones. January, I'm trying to think, what do I want to do in January? That's going to be like the question. I know Michaela, Tiffany, and Natalie are going to be doing an Art by Julia DP along. So I will do one of my Art by Julia canvases in January. I just have to decide which one I want to do. I should probably do Duck Bath, but I feel like it's taken so long to get Duck Bath because guess what? I got Duck Bath on restock. Oh my goodness. So Duck Bath was like the one restock that was in my wish list that I had said, even though I'm on my very low buy, like very, very, very low buy, no buy. If Duck Bath restocked, I was going to be getting it because that was the one that I missed from, last year's Black Friday because I had to get my Yumeis, and by the time I purchased all my Yumeis first, and then I went back and I ended up getting 2 additional kits. I can't remember. I got a couple additional kits in a second order after I purchased my Yumeis, but the Yumeis were the first priority, and there were 10 Yumeis that I had to buy on Black Friday. So by the time I bought the Yumeis and went back in, Kitchen Ducks was sold out. Or not Kitchen Ducks, Duck Bath was sold out. And I have been wanting that one ever since. So for almost a year now, I have been anxiously awaiting the restock of Duck Bath because it's like those greens. I love greens. It's just so soothing and relaxing to have all those greens. So it finally restocked this week. They did like the restock was literally only duck bath. And I think they had ordered even more because there were so many people that wanted duck bath. Because it took quite a while for it to sell out. It still sold out same day, but it took quite a while to get to that point, which was a sign that they probably brought a whole passel of duck baths for their restock since it took so long to get it in. So anyways, I finally got duck bath. I'm just waiting for duck bath to arrive. And then I will have all 4 of the Art by Julia duck canvases so far. I really want, she just recently did one that's for Autumn Festival. It's Chang'e, and there's always bunnies in it. It's so pretty. It's kind of like that traditional Chinese style look canvas and art. It's so pretty. But that one is one that I really, really want. I just saw it in the latest voting route, I want to say. But that's one that I really, 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 really want. I actually just bought a print of that one and a couple other canvases from Art by Julia's store, her website, because she's got an art drop right now where it's open, because she doesn't keep her store open all the time. She opens it for a couple weeks, and then sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a couple weeks, and then she closes it for, you know, a couple months. And I think so that way she can like get everything brought in or restocked. I don't know. But that's what tends to happen. So I've missed her shop drops and openings before, but I did actually get to manage it and get this into this purchase to purchase some prints from her. So I was super happy about that because I wanted some of those canvases or some of those images as prints. Ugh. Oh my goodness, you guys, I have had to basically stop the video. Well, I don't stop it. I basically just go back and edit it out. But there are going to be like, we're like, you know, 10 minutes into my WIP and chat, and I've already had to sneeze like and blow my nose like 3 times already. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I had my flu shot on Thursday, and now I'm like super like, just kind of like, and that's part of why this WIP and chat is going up today, because last night I was just like, I am just way too tired. I just don't feel good because I had the flu shot on Thursday, and this is only the second time I've ever had a flu shot, because it used to be that I didn't get the flu shot because I'm allergic to egg, but they changed the policies, so now even though I'm allergic to egg, I still can get the flu shot. So last year was the first year getting it, and then this year is my second time getting it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it just wipes me out. I have been like so tired all of like Thursday, and I had, you know, I got it Thursday afternoon, then I had to, you know, finish the rest of my work day. My arm is still sore from where they jabbed me. But then like Friday, I and it didn't help. So I had a sore throat when I woke up on Friday, and then we had a uniform inspection on Friday. So I had to leave for work at 5:30 in the morning. I don't normally get up until 5:30 in the morning, but I had to leave for work at 5:30 in the morning, which meant that I had to get up at 5, jump in the shower, feed the cats, and then head to work so I could be there and changed and dressed in my dress uniform so I could start heading outside to form up at 6:15. And let me tell you, it was cold at 6:15 yesterday morning. It was cold. It was probably I think it was in the 50s, but that is super cold for me, especially when you're out there and there's no sun and you're just standing out there, not moving, just standing. So, because we had to start forming up and get in line and everything, because the uniform inspection actually started at 7, and it literally took us that long to get, you know, everybody formed up. But when you're talking, you've got like 800 or 900 people, somewhere around in there that are forming up into a formation for this. Yeah, it's gonna take some time to get her done. But yes. And then we were out there until 7:30 is when we finished, and we were able to go back inside, and it was like, okay, I'm cold. And I just felt chilled the rest of the day. So I already had a sore throat from my flu shot and was already feeling like I was dragging because of the flu shot, because it totally has wiped me out. And then, of course, I spent the day freezing and cold because I was chilled from being outside So then it's like, okay, it just added on to it. And I'm like, oh, it was so cold, you guys. It was so cold. But now, thankfully, I'm feeling a little bit better today. I did have still a little bit of a sore throat now as I'm awake. I still have a little bit of a sore throat, but it's not nearly as bad as it was yesterday. But I also do still feel pretty tired, and I'm always usually a little bit sneezy in the morning, but I feel like this has gotten me a little bit more sneezy than I normally am in the morning, just because my system is dealing with this flu shot. So anywho, that was what yesterday. Ugh, the flu shot. So much fun. Gotta love it. And I'm like, I've never actually, that I know of, have had the flu. I really don't get sick. It's rare for that to happen. So I'm like, but you get the flu shot when they tell you to get the flu shot, because I work at a hospital. So anywho, yeah. Ugh. So let's see, what was I gonna say? All right. Yeah, this has got a good stick to it. I tried using, I think, not the Thess, but I tried using the Tracy's DP World putty earlier this year, but it was too humid still for me to be able to use it, because it was just too sticky and too stringy. This is the Thess Studios, which is pretty fresh. I just have to, I'm so used to like the drier putty of Randa's putty, so this is taking me a little bit to get used to how much, because it's not as dry of a putty for this one. It seems to be working well so far. I just started it partway through that last section. Actually, no, I think I started it partway through the outlining on this this section that I'm on right now. All right. So what did I do for the rest of this week? I know we just talked about what I did on Friday. Other than Friday, I had a lot of meetings. So lots of meetings. Gotta love those. And then on top of the meetings, I put in an application for another leadership position. We will see if I get that or not. And I just realized I completely forgot I was supposed to be meeting with somebody on Friday afternoon, and it completely forgot it. It was like, oof. That's a bummer. I'm going to have to like redo that. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot. So I'm like, oh yeah. So anywho, that's something, well, I guess I can't do anything about it right now because it's the weekend, but I'm like, I feel like, yeah, it was a weird day, and I was off my groove, and apparently, yes, I forgot a meeting that I was supposed to do. It was kind of like an informal, I was going to meet and chat with somebody about a position, but I apparently completely skipped my mind that I was supposed to be doing that. So yeah, I'm going to have to apologize to him on Monday when I get in. Be like, I'm so sorry, because I don't even know what it was that day. Oh yeah, I was dealing with a patient complaint. That's what it was. Because I was like, what was I doing that was like so intensive that I forgot about this meeting? I had like, there's this patient, I don't know if I mentioned them beforehand, but like a week and a half ago or two, like not this past week, but the week prior, they had one of my therapists had come to me and said, hey, I just got an email from a patient. Can you and I want to talk to you about it before I reply back to this patient. Apparently this patient was complaining about, like, had written an email saying that there were a bunch of inaccuracies in the therapist's note. And had like itemized like all of these things that they were complaining about and that they thought were inaccurate and not what was actually said or what was actually going on with her. So this patient did this long email, and it was just like basically like item by item what she was not happy with. So my therapist talked to him about it, and then he drafted up an email, and he was like, and for like some of it, he's like, he had a shadower or an observer with him. So he's like, it's literally not just me that heard those things and heard her say exactly what she had said, but apparently that's not what she said, and blah, 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 blah. So he had drafted up a response to her, but she didn't like the response that he wrote up and sent her. So she basically called the clinic, basically saying, okay, I need to see if she could talk to like a supervisor, because she wanted to elevate her perceived inaccuracies from in his notes. So I was like, okay, so that's a me issue then, because I'm the supervisor. So she left a message on like late in the day. So, you know, I get it the next day. And then she called like multiple times the next day, but every time she would call, I was like literally in the middle of a patient. So I was like, well, I'll be available at whatever time. She never called at the time that I said I would be available at. So I'm like, okay, I will start, because she had left a message saying what she wanted. So I started like reviewing everything from, reading like her email, his email, going through all of that to start to kind of like get that information down so I could be familiar with her record, her chart. I'm reading everything, and I tried calling her to tell her, hey, I'm going to be doing a comprehensive review of your medical record, and I will get back with you once I have those results. But I called her, and it just like rang and rang and rang and rang, and that was, I think, on like last week Thursday afternoon, and I didn't hear anything. So I was like, okay, so end of the day Thursday, I went ahead and wrote her, sent her an email saying, hey, I am going to be received your request, received your phone call and your phone messages. I tried calling you, I couldn't get through. I'm going to be doing a comprehensive review of your medical record, and I'll get back with you once I have those results. So that's what I did. And I sent that like late Thursday afternoon, but the email that I had is her work email. So I knew she wasn't going to get it until Friday. Well, it's like she called again on like Friday morning and to the front desk, and I told the front desk, hey, if she calls, tell her, because I was in the middle of a patient. I was like, tell her that I received her email, or I received her request and her information, and I have replied to her via email, and because, you know, that was, because, you know, when you're in the middle of patient care, I'm not going to compromise working with my patients to do, you know, everything. I realized I had this overflow container of this color that I was pulling from the other container, not this one. This one's my overflow, and I like to start with the overflow the overflow containers. So I was like, okay, I'll get back with you. I have to review your chart first, and then I'll have to get back with you. So I had started reading through her medical record, reading through everything, going through all of her notes. But then, like, because this week has been so busy, my real time that I had to sit down and do it was Friday afternoon. So I couldn't get that drill off. So we're going to go push those over. Because that drill did not want to, come on. I feel like this putty, I have to dirty it a little bit before it works really well. It's doing good. It's working well. It's just, I feel like I have to dirty it a little bit, and I can't just use it fresh without it having a little Klingon action. So see, that one worked well because I didn't push as hard. I'm also a hard presser, and I was pushing a little bit too hard, so it was like grinding it into the putty on my pen. So anyways, I reached out to this patient, and I started doing a review of her medical record, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to read her entire medical record, like literally every single note in her entire medical record, which she's only been in for a year and a half. So it's not like that was something that was, you know, super, come on, move your carcass. No, I'm not holding you. She wants me to hold her because it's cold outside. So the weather has changed. It's now almost chilly. So she wants to sit on my lap and have me hold her 24/7. I'm like, I can't, I need my arms. I can't hold you right now, baby cat. So she's going to pout and sit right here next to me. You can't see, but she's literally right there. There's an ear. But yes, so anywho, so it's not a ton of notes because this patient has only been in the Navy for like a year and a half. But I started reviewing her record, and I went and I pulled up her email, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go a line item by a line item from her email and address the things that she's complaining of. So one of the things that she was complaining of is that this patient was complaining that, you know, she had rolled her ankle, but yet the therapist had written in his note that there was no trauma to her ankle. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go back through. So I was like, okay, on this date in 2024, you told the provider that you think you rolled your ankle while you were walking during command PT. That was the very first mention of your ankle pain. I kind of like concised everything, but I was like, on the note dated this date, the provider writes this, which is basically that which is, the subjective. So it's what the patient tells us. So, but basically it was like that she rolled her ankle while walking, which that's not a trauma. Rolling your ankle while walking is not, that would not be something that would be a trauma. Now, if you were running and rolled it, trauma. If you were walking and you stepped off a curb, trauma. But you jump off something, roll your ankle, trauma. But walking and your ankle rolls on a flat level surface, that is not what I would class as a trauma. Or any of us really in the physical therapy realm wouldn't say, oh yeah, that was a trauma to the ankle. That was okay. You think you rolled it when you were walking, because that's how everything was. She's like, she thinks she rolled it while walking. And then the next note, she says continued ankle pain. It was there were a different provider note a little bit later. And it was her ankle during a command PT at boot camp. And then there was and then there was ones where it was continued ankle pain started during command PT, unsure how she injured it. So it's if multiple providers are kind of giving this vague thing, that means that that's what the patient is telling us, because the subjective is written while you're talking to the patient typically. But it's not a single one was had any kind of sign of trauma. So I was like, okay, so my therapist writing that you injured your ankle during command PT, but no trauma is completely accurate, because this is what the trauma, what we define as trauma, and you did not have that. So I reply all of that because I'm like, okay, no, he actually wrote everything that he has written is consistent with what you have been telling and what has been written by multiple other providers that have seen you for the same issue. And then it was she was going on and she was complained about, oh gosh, it was some of the complaints I was really? One of the things that she complained about was that on, the note dated whatever date, that he had stated that she was negative and fear avoidant. And I'm I read that note 4 times, and there is absolutely nothing in here that says that you are negative or fear avoidant. He mentions that you are motivated, or not fear avoidant, but pain avoidant. He mentions in here that you are motivated by pain, and pain is your focus, but not that you are pain avoidant. So I'm reading through that and I'm no, I'm not seeing that. And then she goes through and there's this period where this patient is does this long paragraph where, and granted, there was one of them that she had complained about was, you said that I was a dancer, and you wrote in your note that I was a dancer and I was hypermobile, and I'm not a dancer. When you asked if I was a dancer, I jokingly said yes. And I'm if you're joking doesn't necessarily come through. If you never told the therapist that that was a joke and you were not actually a dancer, then it is fully within his right to consider and to write in his note that you were a dancer, because you said, yes, you were. You jokingly said, yes, you were, but that doesn't always carry through. What you think as a joke when you're in that medical provider setting, we can take that as, okay, yeah, this person is a dancer, and that's pertinent to, the issue that this patient was being seen for. And I'm I wouldn't expect you to understand what hypermobile is. That's a diagnosis, something that we would give you. That's not something that you would have said. That's basically, and it's pertinent because means that hypermobility basically means blah, 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 blah. And I kind of went through and explained it for her. And then I was if you are not actually a dancer, then yes, I will go ahead and have my therapist put in an addendum stating that you are not actually a dancer. And then there was one of these things where, she was stating that this was said differently. And I was well, we can, and I'm it was so nitpicky. And it was she's taking things out of Sushi. You turd. No. What are you doing? No. Don't yell at me with your little mouse self. Come on, you know better. But it was things were being taken out of context. and she was only copying like one word of the phrase, but you need to have the entire phrase to know exactly what was being said. And then at like the end of it, and this patient had physical therapy, had a 3-month bout of physical therapy, and then they had a ankle surgery, and then more physical therapy after the ankle surgery. And so it was like, and then there was this, so, pretty good amount of care just in the past, this calendar year. And one of the comments, like, she went on this big long diatribe of, and then like at the end of it was like, I've been dealing with this for a year and I have received no help and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, and I granted I phrased it all professionally. But I was like, yes, it's absolutely frustrating that you're still in pain after this amount of time, despite having had surgery, despite going through physical therapy. Yes, it's absolutely frustrating, and like totally get that it's not fun being in pain. It's unpleasant. You're frustrated with it. But saying that you have received no help from medical is completely false. If you received no help from medical, you would have not have had a surgery. You would not have had like 6 months of physical therapy. We would, like, if you had received no help, none of that would have happened. So I was like, I'm not going to let her, granted, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm taking everything as she says as like an outside person looking in and not knowing the case. But like, I'm looking at your medical record. You have been seen for this thoroughly. What do you consider no help? Is the fact that you're still in pain the fact that you consider no help because you still hurt? Well, guess what? Sometimes we can't get rid of your pain. Like, as I go smacking into this, it's like sometimes what we do does not help to reduce pain, and that's just the nature of, some injuries. And sometimes it's not like we have a magic wand and that we can wave and, get rid of all of your pain and get rid of everything and have you be this like, back to how you were before you had the injury. Like, sometimes it just doesn't happen. Like, back pain is a perfect example of it. Like, to get rid of back pain completely and somebody that has chronic low back pain, that's kind of like not realistic. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at, okay, how can we reduce the pain, make it so you can do more at the same level of pain? Because that's actually a sign of improvement in the physical therapy realm is, okay, your overall pain level hasn't changed, but what are you doing? Are you doing higher level activities even though your pain is staying the same? Are you doing, there's so many different components to it that are not just my pain is there, so I haven't improved. I'm like, no, like, you can improve your range of motion, you can improve your strength, and yes, your pain may stay unchanged in some people, but you've still improved because you're doing more, you're stronger. Like, it's a little bit of a different perspective that you have to look at. And a lot of times that's something that I always have to explain to patients. I'm like, look, when you've had this pain for going on for so long, sometimes what we do does not actually improve your pain. But if you're making improvements in these other areas, X, Y, Z, that's actually a sign that you have improved. And if the pain is like the main focus, well, then sometimes if we can't change the pain, but we've made improvements in these other areas, well, then that means that you need to go somewhere else. You need to go to pain management. You potentially need to talk to like a pain psychologist because they can go over and help you with strategies and ways to kind of like manage the pain. And because a lot of it is like, when it comes to chronic pain, a lot of it is actually rewiring your brain's pathways and how your brain is processing and interpreting it. What, Mo? You can't sit right there. Move your carcass. So there's a lot. Pain is this very complex thing. So it's because we're not like all about, okay, well, oh, your pain hurts. Oh, I'm so sorry. You're in so much pain. I'm like, that's not how we work. Like, we're like, okay, hey, yeah, it hurts, but we got to do this. We got to get you stronger. We got to do X, Y, Z. And if your pain goes down, yeah, absolutely. We want that. But if your pain doesn't go down, well, we've done all of the things that we can for it and we need to move you to somewhere else. But like I said, pain is a very complex thing. I like to use this TED Talk from back in like the early 2000s as a great example. So there's an Australian physical therapist that gave this TED Talk back in like the early 2000s. And he's walking through the brush in Australia. He is wearing sandals and he feels something on his foot. So in that fraction of a second, his brain has to process that signal that he felt on his foot and tell him how he's going to respond to it. So basically, your brain doesn't just say, oh, ouch, this hurt. Your brain is going to be like, okay, well, we're walking through the brush. What's going around us? Okay, there's lots of brush, twigs, all of this. We're wearing sandals. And your brain is going to take that stimulus that it said, because you don't technically, the receptors that we have are not pain per se. They're called nociceptors, which are more of like danger signals. So they take the signal and that stimulus, and then they transfer it up to your brain, and your brain is what interprets it and tells you how you're going to react to it. So the brain says, so the signal goes up, and your brain will be like, okay, well, where are we? What's our environment? What's going on around us? What have we experienced before in a similar situation? Blah, 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 blah. And then that'll determine the reaction. So in that fraction of a second, his brain is processing all this information and then telling him this is how you're going to respond. So he just kind of shakes it off because he's like, oh yeah, it was just a twig, no big deal, and shakes it off and keeps walking. And like 30 seconds or a minute later, he collapses, he gets medevaced out of there, blah, 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 blah. This really long recovery process because he was bitten by one of the most poisonous snakes in Australia. Fast forward about a year or so later. He's walking through the brush. Hey, little slappy paws. That's my tissue box. He's walking through the brush again, similar area. He's wearing sandals again because, why would we learn from our mistakes? And he feels something on his foot. So in that split second, his brain has to process the information and tell him how he's going to react. So his brain will be like, okay, well, you're walking through the brush, you're wearing sandals. It's probably a twig or something like that. But oh, wait, danger, danger, danger. Last time this happened, we almost died. So he starts screaming in agony because it was some of the most excruciating pain he had ever experienced in his life. And when he, so he experiences this pain. And then when he looks down, he sees this tiny little scratch on his, the side of his foot, because it was a tiny little twig that had scratched his foot, and that was it. So really, it's like pain is more than just the stimulus. It's also how your brain is processing that signal. So that was something where it took all of that previous experience and said, okay, this is how we're going to respond to it. It wasn't just, oh, ouch, I feel something, let's react to it. No, it's like, I feel something, let's react to it, but we have to factor in everything else that we've dealt with before. So that's kind of how complicated pain can be. So it's not something that can be necessarily clear cut. Like if you go in for an ACL reconstruction, you're like, a successful surgery is not that you are pain-free in your knee. A successful surgery after an ACL reconstruction in the knee is that you now have a stable knee. That's a successful surgery. But a lot of times people don't realize. They think, oh, well, my knee still has some pain in it. It still hurts after my surgery. And I'm like, yes, but your knee is stable. So it's like, and a lot of it is, education and managing patient expectations. And if you don't do that, like people expect, okay, I have this surgery. They think the surgery route is going to be the fastest route. I know I'm going on this big like soapbox of everything. But the people, a lot of times they're like, okay, well, if I have surgery, I'm going to get better faster. And I'm like, you don't realize how much time and effort and everything goes into having surgery. So you have surgery, and yes, your tissues are healed. So whatever part they repaired, that is healed within, 8, 10, 12 weeks. But you then have to continue recovering from that surgery. And if you have a major surgery like an ACL reconstruction, you're not going to feel like you're back to 100% until you're a good 18 to 24 months out from that surgery. It literally takes that long for you to fully and completely 100% recover from surgery. Granted, you're not going to be in physical therapy that whole time. We're going to see you for, the first, 4 to 6 months. And then after that, we're going to cut you loose on a home program, but you're not going to be back at 100% yet. You're still going to have issues. You're still going to feel like, you're still going to be super hyper vigilant of your knee. You're going to be maybe at like 95% of the way there, but you're not going to 90% of the way, 95%, somewhere around in there, but you are not going to be at 100% until you're literally that 18 to 24 months after surgery. That's just how it works. So anyways, yes, I know I just kind of went on this really long diatribe and you guys are probably like, oh my goodness, would you stop talking? But anyways, that was, so this was the fun that I had to deal with on Friday afternoon was going through. It took me like, I was 3 hours of going through and doing this chart review and responding. I have never written an email that long in my life. And I gave this patient options. I'm like, and because one of the things she was also complaining about was that, she was discharged from physical therapy, but she didn't want to be discharged. She didn't feel like she wanted to be discharged from physical therapy. And it wasn't her decision. It was the therapist doing it. I'm like, okay, well, if you're not making progress and you've plateaued and you're not making any change, then the physical therapist recommends that you continue on your own and just do like a home program as opposed to coming into the clinic. And you say, okay, you are then agreeing to that plan of care. Because if you're like, no, I think I want to kind of continue coming into the clinic because it is helping or whatever reason, if you say you want to continue coming into the clinic, we're going to say, okay, and bring you in, and we're not going to discharge you. Like, but if you agree to it and you're like, okay, I'll just continue on my own. Well, then you have now agreed to that plan of care, and it is a decision made by both of you, not just you alone, or not just the therapist alone. It's a decision made by both people. So, because that was one of her complaints, was that she was discharged and it was the therapist's decision to discharge her. I'm like, that's not how we do things. At least in my physical therapy clinic, we get your feedback and input in what you want as part of it, because it's your body and your care. So I'm like, but if you really did not want to be discharged, then let me know and we will bring you back into the clinic and have you work with a different physical therapist, but you have to let me know that information. Also, on top of that, it was basically, it was like, and I was like, and if you want to meet with me in person to discuss my results of reviewing your case, then absolutely, I'm available these days at these times. Just let me know what works best for you so I can plan it out. But I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like, it's just like, but then in the process of reviewing this patient's chart, she also had put in like a complaint where she felt like primary care wasn't like listening to her, medical wasn't listening to her or hearing her. And I'm like, but it's like she would come in and she would see primary care and see them and do stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, but they're not, they're ignoring me. They're blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, but you've been seen. I know you guys can't see these last couple of drills. There was just a handful of these drills I wanted to place right up at the top. But I'm like, okay, what is your perception of care that you're not receiving? Because that's the big disconnect. What does she want that she's not getting? To put in complaints against multiple providers about not receiving care. And I'm like, because she has, I missed this whole section right here of this color, because this patient has most definitely received care from, sorry, Mo, you're in my way, from multiple providers from multiple areas. She had a surgery on her ankle. Like, you're not going to get surgery if we're ignoring you and like not giving you the care that you need. Like, that's not just something that you'd be like, oh, hey, let's get surgery, and it just happens. No, it's like, yeah. So I'm just like, you've had multiple x-rays, you had MRI, like, what are you not getting that you are seeking? Because that's really what it comes down to for this patient. And I'm like, yes. And then it's just like, oh, and then she did a walk-in to behavioral health because she felt like she was very stressed and didn't feel like she was being seen and taken care of. Hi, Momos. So she does a walk-in to behavioral health, and like basically her entire note was complaining about not feeling like she was being seen, or that she was being listened to, and blah 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 blah, and a complaint about her other medical providers. And then a month or two later, she walks into behavioral health asking to see a different person because she felt like she wasn't being seen, that she wasn't being heard by the psychologist that she had seen the first time, and all of this stuff. And I'm just like, but what's actually really interesting is every single one of these providers that she's complaining that she hasn't been treated properly by and hasn't received the care that she needs from, every single one of those providers has been a man. When she sees a woman, no complaints. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just something within, it's more of a her issue at that point. But anyways, I know I need to really stop talking about this because it's just, but that's been, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is just Seriously. Seriously. Yeah. Anyways, youth these days, kids these days. So what is everybody going to be buying tomorrow? Or today? I guess today. By the time this comes out, you guys will have already made your purchases. I, of course, am getting the Yume. I actually have been waiting on that Yume for a while. It's one of them that I really, really love. So I will be buying my Yume, but only my Yume. You know how hard it is to just buy one canvas when there's other canvases that I want? It is so hard, you guys, but I've been holding strong. I only bought the one Halloween canvas, which was the Yume. I only bought that one Halloween canvas, so I'm proud of myself for that, and now I'm only going to buy the one canvas today. I did add a couple from last week. I did wish list a couple canvases last week, but I did not purchase anything. So I will be purchasing today. But then I'm like, I think there was one coming out today that I really, really liked the look of. And I'm trying to think of what the name, it was one where I'm like, oh my gosh, I want it. But I think it's going to have to go on my wish list because it's not a Yume. And as much as I want it, I'm like, I can't just be like, oh, well, I'm going to get it because I love it. No, that's not the rules that I kind of like gave myself. It's not one that I'm like, I will like die if I don't have this canvas, you know, overly dramatic, but you know what I mean. So anywho, that's kind of where we're at with that. Look at how much we're coming along with. I'm moving very slowly, but because I'm trying not to do like the big colors that I have a lot of up above that you guys can't see, because then that just kind of, you guys won't necessarily see it. All right, let me do this color. Momo, you're just like, I have Mochi literally right here. She is in my way. She is helping me. She wants me to hold her, but I'm not holding her because then I won't be able to. I'm not in the right chair to be able to hold Momo. I need to be in my larger desk chair in order to hold Momo. Which also, by the way, why is it that my computer chair at work, my office chair at work, is so ridiculously comfortable and I can sit in it for hours with absolutely no problems? And yet, you know, my chair, the chairs that I have here at home, and I've tried to like get good ones, my chairs that I get here at home are like, you know, my mid to upper back starts hurting as I'm sitting in them. Like, why is this a thing? I don't even have to be doing nearly as long of a session here at home, diamond painting or cross stitching, as what I do when I'm sitting and staring at working on my computer at work. And yet my back will hurt significantly more. I'm like, okay, well, why is this happening? Come on. Because my posture is good. So I'm like, I may have to just be like, okay, what chair do I have at work? And let me go ahead and get that for at home. Because obviously, like what I have is not doing it because I have to take so many breaks because my back will get so tight. And it's mostly the upper back that gets tight as I'm sitting. So anywho, yeah, that's my thing. If you guys like have struggle with like that mid to upper back pain and you have a really, really good computer chair that you can sit in all day long and diamond paint and it doesn't bother you, let me know what it is because I need to find a chair that I can do that with. You know how hard it is to diamond paint around you, Momos? Hi, baby. There's my Momos. She's like, Mom, I'm here. I'm happy. I'm purring at you. Hey, Carcass. Sushi's in the window. Are you coming down, little baby cat? You gonna go behind my easel or are you gonna come over here and see me? Hey, Susu. Hey, Sushi. How's my little girl? Ha, I snagged you. She was trying to jump on the floor and I snagged her before she could jump. Hi, baby. Look, there's your Carcass. She's like, what are you doing? What? Let's look at your little face. Let's look at your little face. Look at your little face. She's like, Mom, put me down. Well, go on. Get down. Thank you. All right. We're going to work on some of this sweater confetti. There's some of it down in this bow and then more of it up in here. You can see I started with like one color right there. Look how tedious that is. It's all single placing. So much single placing. All right, let's work a little bit on that in these last few minutes of the video. I know today's video ended up on this long diatribe about this this patient that I was having to deal with. And that's not having even had to meet her in person. And I'm like, I'm dreading that moment because I'm like, oh, really? Good grief. Yeah. So, anywho, I will stop talking about that patient and all of that. So those are the ones that you're like, why am I doing this? Why did I decide to work in the medical field? But then you have other patients that are, you know, like completely pleasant, nice to work with, like hard workers. They put in all the effort, and those are the ones that make it rewarding. Not the ones like this individual that I was having to deal with the complaint from. But anyways, so look at that confetti. So this is the part of the canvas that I was not looking forward to, was all this confetti that I'm gonna have now for the bow, her sweater, and I think the rug. That's the other area that has all the confetti, is the rug on the floor. But other than that, this has been a good blend of color blocking with like some line blocking. So that has been not too bad so far. Granted, I'm still early in this canvas. I haven't done, you know, a ton of work on this canvas. I think this will be like roughly, this right here is roughly the halfway mark. Will be just a little bit past this point, is basically the halfway mark. And then once I finish this one, it's like right here is halfway, or not halfway, a quarter of the way, halfway through this side. That would be like the quarter of the canvas mark. But I am making good progress on it, which is good because, like I said, this is going to be the last of the Halloween-y type kits that I'm going to do, and I'll be finishing it in the beginning of November because, again, like I said, I doubt I'm going to finish it this coming week. That's just not going to happen. So, anywho, we are working hard on this canvas. I'm going to be getting the Yume canvas from, you know, getting that Yume that's releasing today. And then other than that, I want to say, was there something else that, oh yes, wait, no. I'm like, has there been another thing that I've purchased diamond painting wise between last time I talked to you guys and now? Oh, duck bath. I did do duck bath, but I already mentioned that. So it's like, I do have a fair stack of canvases because I've gotten a few Jaded Gem Shop orders in. But the non-Jaded Gem Shop orders and the things that I've actually ordered this month are significantly fewer. But I have my little stack waiting for me to open and unbox. Oh, I'm not done with this color. I still have all of it up here to do. I have a whole stack of canvases to go through at the end of the month. Or, well, really, it'll be the beginning of next month. Not nearly as many as I had last month, so the pile is getting a little smaller and smaller, which is good. Mochi's coming back for more. Hi, Momos. Hi, baby. I know I love you too, sweet pea. Move your little booty rolls. There you go. You can sit over there. Perfect. All right. Oh, and then see, sometimes I'm so oblivious when I'm looking at the colors because this is like an entire section of this color right here that I somehow missed. And I was like, oh, hey, I was thinking I just had up here to do. Nope, I have this whole section right here as well. So yeah, sometimes I'm like, and that's the thing that always gets me is when you're working and you're like, how did I miss that whole massive section of that color? I don't know. I'm also that person that I can be staring right at something. I go to find something in the closet and I can be staring right at it and I can't find it. Like, that's a regular occurrence for me. I am the worst person when it comes to finding things. And it's like, I see it, but my brain doesn't process it, I feel like is what happens. So yeah, it's always funny when I'm looking for stuff and can't find it. And I'm like, where is it? And I'm like, well, somebody's bad at finding things, i.e. me. It's like, you know how stereotypically it's the guys that go to find something for you and can't find it? That's me. I'm literally that bad. Where I'll be like, I can't find this. And then someone else will go in there and will like pull it right off of the shelf and it'll literally have been right where I was looking. And I'm like, how in the world did I miss that? I am so bad at it. It's so funny. But anywho, it is what it is. I know that it's a weakness of mine. So I'm not afraid to ask somebody and be like, hey, do you know where XYZ is? Because I obviously did not find it. Like, if I'm hunting for something specific at the grocery store, that is like the worst because I can be staring right at the item, walk up and down the aisle 5 times where that item is and still not see it. And then I have to have, I have to ask an employee, be like, hey, where is XYZ? And then they'll take me right to it and they'll have been like right where I was. And I'm like, how do I miss these things? How? And I'm like specifically hunting for it. How do I miss it? It's just a me issue, I guess. I don't know if other people have that issue like I do, but it's definitely an issue. But I recognize it as an issue and know, so I know to ask for help and seek that. Anywho, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this overhead off, or not the overhead. We're gonna turn off the light pad so you guys can see the progress that we've made and how wonderful these colors are. Like, I am in love with the colors on this canvas. Part of it, I just finished doing Cursed, which was very much a muted brown color palette. So working on her Halloween bedroom with all of her light colors and all the vibrancy that you can see, and even like up into her face right up here. Like, look how good her face is right there. You have the whites and the pinks of her blush. It's like she's coming out very nicely. It's looking really good. I'm pleased with the color palette on this one. It is a nice refresh. It doesn't feel like it's Halloween colors per se, and it's a nice refresh after working on Cursed previously. So yes, I'm happy with that. We have some little crystals in here, kind of scattered throughout. I'm looking forward to some of the larger areas of color blocking. Like, I'm gonna have a good amount of color blocking here, but I'll still have her sweater. And then when I get onto this next section, that one's gonna be a wonderful strip because there's a lot of color blocking with her pants. And the chair that she's sitting in. So I'm looking forward to like those sections over there. And then when I do the rug at the bottom, that section is going to be a little bit more tedious. It's not pure checkerboarding. That one's not too bad. It's like but it's not going to be anything like her sweater. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys for today. I hope you guys enjoyed my long rambles. I know this one was like a rambly WIP and chat. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.